Hey guys, I'm Chase Brogan. Today in this video we're diving straight into the G11 Game Box, a plug-and-play retro game console that claims to come with over 100,000 games pre-installed and ready to be played. No downloads, no complicated setups, just plug this into your TV, power it on, and start diving into your favorite games. Now currently you can find this selling on Amazon for around $69 to $79, or you can check it out on AliExpress for $45 to $55. Keep in mind, AliExpress is going to take much longer to get to you than Amazon, which is typically just a couple of days. Now, the big question here with this product is this actually loaded with quality games? How's the performance? And what are you really getting for the price point here? So that's where we're going to come in with this video. We're going to unbox this, we're going to take a look at the layout and design, and we're going to comb through the entire setup today. We're going to go collection by collection, system by system, and see exactly what's on here and how well it performs. Now, before we dive into this, make sure that you hit that subscribe button to stay in the loop for all future videos right here on the Chase Brogan YouTube channel. Be sure to give me a thumbs up on the video. Now let's dive into this. We'll unbox it, we'll set it up, and we'll tour through everything that it has to offer. All right, guys, here's the box. Game box right over here. Let's go ahead and start opening this up. All right, so right on top here, we have the actual console itself. You can see it says G11 Pro on here. And it looks like just your typical TV box sort of console. If we go to the front panel, nothing on there. If we go over to the side panel over here, you can see that we have our TF card slot. This is the SD card inserted in here that has all of our games pre-installed. We also have two USB-A ports over here. If we flip this around to the back side, this is where all of our different ports are located. So first off, power button right over here. You can press that in, press it in again. We have our DC power cable connection. We have our AV connection over here. We have our HDMI port, so we can connect from HDMI on the actual unit itself over to a TV, and that's how we would get everything displayed on our TV or regular monitor. We also have our Ethernet port over here, so if you want to have a wired internet connection, you establish that connection and you're good to go. Nothing over here on the side. Flip this over. A little bit of ventilation down there at the bottom, but that's about it. So let's see what else is inside the actual box. So we do have a remote over here. This remote is going to enable us to make some different adjustments. We can navigate our settings with this, but honestly, with plug and plays, I hardly ever use these because the controllers can navigate you around the system just as easy. Now we have our HDMI cable located right here. Decent length on there. We have our user guide. We have two PlayStation style controllers, which are pretty typical with plug and play setups. These are usually the ones that you get. Backside here has a little compartment for AAA batteries. And we generally have a dongle inside here. We don't appear to have one on this one. Let's see if there's one inside of the other one. No dongle in here either. Interesting. Hopefully there's a dongle inside. Yep, there they are. So we did have a dongle. Usually they put them in the battery compartment. This one was just thrown in here loose, which is kind of strange, but it is what it is. One dongle with this particular console is going to work with both controllers. So that's nice. We don't have to have one for each controller. And then right here we have our DC power cable connection right here, which we will make to the back side. So the way that the setup process is this is going to plug in right there. We have our dongle for our controllers. I'm going to plug those in right over here. There we go. HDMI cable connection. We will go ahead and make that on the back side, like so. Other end gets plugged into your TV or monitor. That's the entire process here. I'm going to throw some AAA batteries into one of these controllers, and we are going to fire this up and tour through everything that it has to offer. All right, guys, so here we are loaded up into our setup. Now, first complaint that I have right out of the gate is I'm hitting my D-pad up, and I'm actually going down. If I hit my D-pad down, I go up. So it's mixed up the mapping on here. However, if I go into my main menu, which in order to access this, you hit your start button. And now if I go down and up, D-pad up is working, D-pad down is working. So there's definitely a major discrepancy in terms of navigation on here. I'm interested to see if it's mapped correctly for games. I imagine since it's working within our main menu, it's going to be fine. But out here, it's not working well at all. So it's definitely confusing, to say the least, that up means down over here, but up means up over here. Very strange. Anyways, we're going to back out of this altogether, though, and I want to show you guys the all games list. Now, for those that aren't familiar with emulation, your all games list is your master list. It is a collection that has every game that is included in a setup, easily accessible under this one banner. So notice the number on here, though, 37,689 games. Very good number. However, the listing for this product says there's over 100,000 games on here. This clearly shows us that there's only 37,689. I'm not upset with 37,689. However, there's false advertising if you're advertising over 100,000. So definitely a major discrepancy. They are over 60,000 games short of what they were advertising. Now, if we jump into this collection, we hit our A button on this controller, and currently we're in the Z titles, but if we hold this down, you can see how we navigate everything, and it is in alphabetical order. Now, every single title on here is going to populate in, well, as I say that, not every single title is scraped. So some titles like this one here have a graphic on there and information on the left-hand side, some don't. This one's missing some of the information. There's no description here, so it's a little bit hit or miss in terms of consistency. But let's jump out of this master list right here, and let's jump into our first collection. And I'm going the wrong direction because the D-pad is the opposite. Let me see if the analog stick is, yeah, analog stick's backwards as well. Anyways, PSP is our first collection if we were to go down. There's 263 total games on here, so let's jump into this collection. So it starts off with God of War, Chains of Olympus at the top, which is a great game. We have Tekken 6 down here next. So interestingly enough, I'm hitting D-pad down, and now within this collection, it's navigating correctly. So yeah, they definitely have some major issues with the mapping, at least in terms of navigating menus. But looks like nice setup. We have TNT Racers, we've got Super Crash over here, we've got Grand Theft Auto Vice City, we've got NBA 2K19, Tekken 6. Let's keep it moving down. So there's some good titles in here. Then there's titles that I'll never play, like never gonna play this one over here. Age of Zombies, probably never gonna play. Yeah, there's some good titles, and then there's some crappy titles. Pretty typical though. Yeah, so a lot of these games I wouldn't get excited about, and I wonder if that's because performance-wise, this system wouldn't be able to handle some of the more advanced stuff. However, Chains of Olympus from God of War isn't, necessarily an easy title to play, or to emulate, I should say. So it's interesting. Yeah, none of these games excite me at all. I wouldn't play any of this. I'm actually, beyond Tekken 6 on here, none of the games since then I think would I ever play. So yeah, PSP is a little bit weak, and that's being very nice. Alright, so we're going to back out of this. Yeah, there's nothing in here that I would ever play. Do we even have like Ridge Racer? No. That's too bad. Yeah, no, there's just nothing in here that I would consider to be a good PSP game. Terminator, I guess. Yeah, nothing. All right, so we're going to back out of this collection. Next collection down is PlayStation. And PlayStation has 62 games. Let's see what's inside here. So we start up there at Battle Arena. If we go down, we've got Bloody Roar. We've got Bloody Roar 2. Contra Adventure, we got some Castlevania, some Pepsi Man, Crash Bandicoot. We got Crash Team Racing, one of my favorites for PS1. Dead or Alive, we got Die Hard Trilogy, Digimon, Dragon Ball Z. So there's definitely some great titles in here for PS1. GTA, some Battle Assault, Jackie Chan Stunt Master, Mega Man, Mortal Kombat 4, Moto Racer 2, Porsche Challenge, R-Type Delta, Ridge Racer Type 4, regular Ridge Racer, Soul Blade, some Street Fighter titles. We've got Tekken 2 and Tekken 3. Tekken 3 is another one of my favorites. We got Medal of Honor in here with the wrong scraped data. That's actually for the, I believe they've scraped the data for the Xbox 360 release and PS3 release. So they're way off on that, but that's okay. It's a great World War II game. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Medal of Honor. Just the wrong graphics scraped. Drivers in here, Driver 2. Yeah, definitely some good stuff. Digimon again, and we loop back around. So I'll definitely check this out towards the end of the video when we start demoing titles and different titles from different collections. But let's back out of PS1. We've got Neo Geo Pocket Color over here with 81 games. We've got Neo Geo Pocket over here with what is that number? 9 games. Not crazy about the font on here. Neo Geo now with 175 games, which is a pretty typical number for this collection. Let's jump in here. There we go. So I like that we have, for easy access, a Metal Slug specific collection. Same with Samurai Shadow, as well as the King of Fighters here and Fatal Fury. But let's go into the Metal Slug collection, because this is, honestly, these are really the only games that I typically will play on a regular basis within the Neo Geo collection. So I do like that they're easily accessible. We'll definitely check out at least one of these when we get to the demos. So backing out now, we have Sinclair ZX Spectrum. 6,262 games over there. It's not a collection I play ever, but cool to have. Next up, Sega Naomi with 6 games. Now that's a pretty light collection. Let's see what we have in there for Sega Naomi. We've got Capcom versus SNK Millennium Fight. We've got Confidential Mission. We got Giga Wing 2, Guilty Gear. We got some Marvel versus Capcom, and we've got some Street Fighter 03 over here as well. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to see more Naomi games over here, but it is what it is. These are good titles, at least. So we'll back out of this collection. Next is Dreamcast, and notice how every time I go the wrong direction, it's because I'm just naturally hitting D-pad down, and D-pad down brings me up instead of down. So there's either 4 games in here or 9 games in here for Dreamcast. Let's dive in and check. Hopefully it's 9. It's 4. That sucks. We've got Fighting Force 2, we got Crazy Taxi 2, Dead or Alive 2, and Sonic Adventure. Why not give us Sonic Adventure 2 if you're doing all the sequels? Good games. I love all 3 games. Well, excuse me, all 4 games. But yeah, 4 games in Dreamcast. That's pretty freaking lame, man. Okay, we'll back out. We've got Sega 32X up here with 37 games. We've got Mega Drive with a total of 1,193 games. Let's jump into that. All right, so we have Genesis, Japanese titles in there, 189 games. I think that's 189. And then we have PTBR there, which is 103 games. And I hate this font because that could either be a 7 or a 1. It's really hard to tell. But beyond that, collection looks pretty solid in terms of what's offered. We have all the data scraped properly. We've got the cover art, the screenshot, we've got the logo, we've got the cartridge art there. We have a description and all the data for each of the titles. So this collection is laid out very nicely. Afterburner 2, obviously a favorite. Now you can go and hit your select button, go to the jump to game beginning with the letter, and like if we wanted Sonic, we just go over to S. We highlight S and we confirm it with our A button, and it jumps us to the to the S titles. So then from here we can navigate our way through here a little bit quicker. And I did see we have Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, and 3. We also have Spinball in here, Sonic Jam 6, Sonic Eraser. So yeah, definitely a lot of Sonic specific titles inside this collection, which is what we all want inside Mega Drive. Now backing out, we have Game Gear next. Game Gear is giving us 263 games. We've got Genesis next with 890 games. You're going to have a lot of crossover between that and Mega Drive, of course. We've got Master System here, going back a little bit further, 492 games for Sega Master System. We've got Sega SG-1000 next with 81 games. We've got Atomic Wave next with a total of just 7 games. Let's take a look at Atomic Wave. We've got Dolphin Blue to start it all off, Fist of the North Star, Guilty Gear, a couple different Guilty Gear titles. We got the Rumblefish titles as well, which I am definitely a fan of. So yeah, I mean, it gives you a good start for this collection. We'll back out. Next up, we have Nintendo DS. Nintendo DS is giving us 25 or 26 games. Hard to tell with that font. Let's dive in here. So I'm not a big DS guy myself, but looks like we got some good titles. We got Fire Emblem, Shadow Dragon up there. We got Ghostbusters, Glory Days 2. We got some Hot Wheels. We got some Kirby titles in here, Kung Fu Panda 2. Lego titles. I always like the Lego games. And we even have Indiana Jones, which is one of my favorite Lego titles. That, and I always like the Batman's a good one. Lord of the Rings were good ones as well. Star Wars, of course, and we've got Star Wars here, the complete saga. That's a good one. Oh, cool. We got Lord of the Rings over here. This isn't a Lego one, but Aragorn's Quest. Actually played that. Madden NFL 08. So yeah, we got some Mario and Luigi over here as well. Legend of Zelda down there at the bottom. So decent collection for Nintendo DS. We'll back out of this one. We've got Pokemon Mini over here with a total of 26 games, it looks like. We've got Game Boy Advance next with 1,081 games, so that's pretty complete for Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Color is giving us a total of 648 games. That's a good count on Game Boy Color. Nintendo 64 now. We've got 145 games. Let's dive into N64. So we've got The World Is Not Enough 007 over here. We've got 1080 snowboarding. We've got A Bug's Life, some tennis titles, some Army Men titles. We've got lots of good stuff in here. We've got Bomberman 64. We've got Castlevania. We've got Cruisin' World. We don't have Cruisin' Exotica or Cruisin' USA, but Cruisin' World is a good one. Clay Fighter, of course. Terrible game, but cool to have. Doom 64, Dr. Mario 64, Duke Nukem 64, Duke Nukem 0 Hour. We got some ECW in here. Formula 1 titles. GoldenEye. Ken Griffey Jr. Slugfest, which is a great baseball game. Killer Instinct Gold. Kirby 64. Mario Party, Mario Kart, Mario Tennis, Mega Man. Okay, I'm digging this. We got Mortal Kombat. So far, this is probably my favorite collection. We got some NFL Blitz titles. We got some NBA titles up here. Hang Time, NBA Showtime. We got some NHL titles here. So this is a great selection of your classics like Paper Mario, like Mario Kart 64, Paperboy. We got the Pokemon titles in here, but we also have racing, we have sports, we have a little bit of everything. We got the Rampage titles, Ready to Rumble in here. Do we have any wrestling games? That's going to be my next look here. We got Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. We've got WCW NWO Revenge. All right, so that's the only WCW game, but that is the best one. We've got Wave Race 64, which is a great game. Do we have any WWF games? We have no WWF games? Man, that's not good. You gotta at least have No Mercy in here, so solid mark against them there, but still decent selection, definitely the best so far from what we've seen. So we're gonna back out of N64. We've got Virtual Boy, and again, you see how I keep going up instead of down. It's because the damn D-pad down goes up. 29 games for Virtual Boy. We've got Super Nintendo with a total of 1,232 games. We've got Original Game Boy in here. Original Game Boy is giving us 493 games. We've got Family Computer Disk System. I bet that's massive. Not that massive. 229 games. We've got NES Hacks. So the Hacks collection is 1,975. Wow. Regular NES is going to give us 3,816 games. So, yeah, I mean, it's safe to say. I'm not even going to go into that one. I guess we could take a peek at it, but I have no doubt that we have all of our titles here. And it looks like we have multiples, too, which I'm not crazy about that. Like 10-yard fights in here twice. This one's in here twice. This one's in here twice. This one's in here 3 times, at least. Yeah, there's a lot of duplicates, which we kind of knew looking at that number. 3,816 is way too many damn titles for NES. We've got Nintendo Game & Watch with a total of 63 games. These are cool to have, but I don't think anybody's playing these. I would go out on a limb and say nobody is playing these. Cool to have, though. I mean, it's nostalgic, but you're not playing this. Let's be real. All right, so Super Graphics is next with a total of 5 games or 6 games. Hard to tell with that font. We've got CD-ROM 2. Is that... Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't have labeled it that. 2 games there, nothing to get excited about. We got PC Engine next with a total of 290 games. We've got Vectrex over here with a grand total of 71 games. We've got MSX2 with a total of 82 games. Regular MSX is up next with 668 games. We've got Odyssey 2 next. 116 games. Amiga, which I'm a big Amiga fan. 1,051 games. We'll jump into Amiga, and we have an unreleased section, which is cool. So we can go in here and kind of find all those unreleased titles, which is, you know, kind of a fun twist on the collection. If we back out, we have the regular collection over here. And there are games in here multiple times over. but still cool to have a pretty stacked collection like this. So, yeah, I would say Amiga is pretty robust here to say the least. Now, next collection is Commodore 64. Man, the D-pad down being up is so freaking annoying. Like literally every time, it's just muscle memory because I go through all these different systems and I've never seen it where it goes backwards like that. Anyways, Commodore 64, 4,978 games. I mean, that's such a ridiculously high number. Now, there's multiple disc games in here, but that adds to why you have that 37,000 plus games on the entire system. I mean, almost 5,000 of those right here is for Commodore 64. Next, we have Atari Lynx with a total of 103 games. We have Atari 7800 out behind that with 64 games. We got Atari ST now with a total of 2,847 games. We've got Atari 5200 with 73 games. We got Atari 800 now with 5,097, it looks like. That could be 6,000. It's hard to tell with the font. We'll call it 5. But again, there's another 5,000 plus games right there for Atari 800. Now we have 2,600. Hopefully it's not a ridiculous number. 643. We have Final Burn Alpha next with 96 games. We've got Arcade Classics here with 353 games. I would have expected that to be way more. I mean, is that 3 or is that 9? I guess that's 963, right? Hard to tell. Man, they terrible font. Let's go into Atari. Let's go into Classic Arcade and just poke around here a little bit. So, alphabetical order seems to be laid out nicely. I'm not seeing blatant duplicates all over or anything like that. But let's go to our jump to, and let's go to, I guess we'll go to W and see what wrestling games we have. So we could go to W, but we'll probably jump to letter. Why is this not giving me any letters? It's just giving me numbers. What the hell kind of system is this? I'm not crazy, right? Like it's giving me 1, 2, and 0. What the heck kind of a setup is this? Okay. Oh, because look, the dumbasses labeled it with numbers on there. So they made the numbers part of the file name. So that's freaking weird. Yeah, so you can't even like find what you're looking for. You have to go scroll title by title because they put the numbers into the titles. That's why there's only the 2 options. Crazy. All right, so there's no wrestling games on here though, unless they're thrown in there at random and not in alphabetical order because we didn't pass WWF anything, right? Just verifying that. Unless they spelled it out. No. Yeah, it would be over here. Okay, I would hold this down and go up to see if Michael Jackson's Moonwalker is here, but I'll be damned if I'm going to hold this down for... And why is there 2,000... Like, why is the numbers so random, right? Because the collection only has... Let's go back out. We only have 953, if I'm reading that correctly, titles, but the numbers go up to... We're in the 2141 right now. I don't know, man. This is crazy. Terrible setup. Okay. Amstrad CPC is next with a total of 1,955 games. Wow. What the hell? Favorites. This is a favorites collection where you put your own games in there. They gave you 5, though, to start. Let's see what 5 favorites they selected for us. Football 2022. Okay. We have Super Mario 64. I'm cool with that one. Dead or Alive for PlayStation 1. Cool with that one. Medal of Honor with the wrong art on there. I'm good with that too. I mean, they picked good games for us, minus this one, which I'm not familiar with. But yeah, the favorites collection is just going to be a collection that you add your favorite titles to for easy access. So if you want to know how to do that, we can go up here to this terrible collection for arcade classics. We can hit the A button. If we wanted to add Touchdown Fever, we would hold down our A button on here, and then we would just go to where it says Add to Favorites. We select that, it confirms, and then you'll be able to find that in your favorites folder just for easy access once again. So we'll go over there, and there it is down at the bottom, Touchdown Fever. But yeah, guys, this setup, absolute trash. I'm really not impressed, but let's see what the performance is like on these games.
Final round, fight!
Alright guys, so we jumped into the G11 Pro retro plug-and-play game console. Do not buy this. This is absolute dog shit. This is terrible. Okay, so where to begin here? Upon unboxing this, I mean, this looks like your typical plug-and-play game console. It looks like a Kinhang console. It looks like the Neo 01. You know, it looks like what we typically see with plug-and-plays. There's nothing that gives away that this is going to be straight-up dog shit, you know, just looking at it. But as soon as we booted it up, we quickly got to that point. So they advertise over 100,000 games, which we know as, or at least I know from doing a lot of these reviews, that typically they just put tons of duplicates in there and they pad the numbers. It's a pretty typical practice that most of, not all, but most of the companies do. The Neo 01 doesn't do that, and that's what I really like about it. It's a clean setup and it doesn't pad the numbers like that. Kinhang definitely pads the numbers, but it's still a clean setup at the end of the day in terms of the games actually work. Maybe not so much a clean setup in terms of navigating through things, but the games work. Games barely work on this. but they're advertising 100,000 games. There was 37,000 and change. I wouldn't be upset about 37,000. That's still way more games than I'm ever going to play on here, but they're advertising 100,000. So there's, deception going on there, which I don't like. I don't like false advertising in any way, shape, or form because people are buying it most often because they don't really understand. They're just saying, oh, this has 100,000 games. This over here has 20,000 games. The 100,000 is better. Very rarely is that the case, but it's a marketing strategy at the end of the day. And this one doesn't even have what they're advertising. So yeah, 37,000 and change on here. I hated the fact that every time I hit D-pad down, it went up instead of down. When I went in and manually changed the mapping, then it fucked everything else up. So you can't even get around it. You just have to kind of roll with it. And you saw as I went collection by collection, I couldn't get used to it. I was constantly going up instead of down every single time. Now, the arcade collection, really crappy because they put the numbers into the title. So you can't even effectively do the jump to navigation. You just kind of have to roll through the list and hope to find what you're looking for. Once you do find what you're looking for, though, the games don't work because they have the wrong emulator set. So you can manually override that and you can choose which emulator to use, but you have to scroll through there and find the emulator that actually works correctly with the ROMs that they used. That's not the experience we want when we buy a plug and play. You can create something like this for, $100 or so. I just did a video on how you could do it for $65, in fact. But not everybody wants to do that. That's for the DIYers. That's for the people that want to take on that challenge. For people that just want a plug and play experience, you want to be able to hit a game that you want to play and instantly dive into it. You don't want to have to manually search for emulators that actually launch the game. So, hated that. We jumped into N64. Decent experience with some games. WCW NW Revenge didn't even work. Didn't even load up. You can hear it, but you can't visually see anything. So it's not powerful enough to even launch the game effectively. Some games work, some don't. Mario Kart 64 was fine. It wasn't a great experience, but it was acceptable. Jumping into Dreamcast, felt a little bit sluggish, but still ran okay. PlayStation, same deal. But you saw the Tekken experience. We don't have the soundtrack in the game. It's a terrible experience. That game sucks if you don't have the music behind it. Tekken 3 is one of my favorite games. One of my favorite games from back then on PlayStation and also in the arcade. But without that techno sort of beat to it in the background, it's a pretty lame game. It's not how you want to play it. So, man, across the board, total letdown on here. So they're asking for, on Amazon, $69 to $79 and AliExpress like $45 to $55. I wouldn't buy this if it was $20. It just isn't powerful enough, it's not reliable enough, and just the lack of interest in even trying to make it somewhat manageable in terms of navigation is horrendous. They shouldn't make $1 off of this. It's straight up garbage. Do not buy the G11. Now, the only reason I reviewed this product, believe it or not, is that two people in the comments on past videos, I think I did one for a Kinhank and one for a Neo01, two different people commented that I should review the G11 because it's way better than both of those. Whoever thinks this is better than the Kinhank consoles or the Neo01 is an absolute fool. This is horrendous. Do not buy this. Don't waste your time like I did making this video because nobody should click any links. Matter of fact, I'll provide links for you guys so you can click over and just see what to avoid. But do not click those links and buy this because it's straight up garbage. Just absolute trash. There's so many other better ways to enjoy retro gaming and emulation gaming. Don't buy the G11 Pro. It's terrible. Thank you guys for watching. At least you'll get a heads up as to what not to buy from this video. Thank you so much for the support here. Be sure to give me a thumbs up on the video for letting you know what not to buy and waste your money on. That's going to do it for today, guys. The next one will be so much better. I promise you guys.